Welcome back to Satisfactory, guys. In today's episode, we're going to get a new home. The little base we had, it's too much now. It's bursting at the seams. That one station, somehow I've managed to get everything keep coming there. The filter system's all working, but you know what? Let's spend a few hours, we'll build a brand new home and make it the best it can be. So the first thing about a home is location, location, location. I think I've picked a good one. You recognise the spot. If you don't, you should be. I think it's one of the prettiest parts where our main train line goes across. It has about 10 waterfalls. So I thought, right on top of all these waterfalls, we'll build the southern base. Yep, I am going to build two eventually. The northern one, that'll come somewhere down the line. I'm not sure when. But for now, this is the guy we're going to build first. I've been thinking about this base for quite a while now, how to design it, what it's going to look like. So a little further along here, a little bit of straight track, we'll start laying the foundations down and then the train stations. What I'm thinking of, we'll have 4 banks of 4. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 4 banks of 2. Oh, I can't even count properly. Yeah, 4 banks of 2. So we'll have 4 stations going inwards and 4 stations coming outwards. 8 in total. Each one will have 4 freight terminals on, so that's 32 items. In theory, can come to the station at any one time. To be honest, I could do with 2 extra items coming to the base itself. So I'm thinking we may have to get into drones and I'll have the last 2 items delivered by drones. Because we do need a fuel supply. And, oh, what's the other thing? I can't remember. I've got it written down somewhere. Haha, I remembered, it's electromagnetic control rods. Wow, that's easy for me to see, isn't it? Yeah, it's using the recipe for the particle accelerator, so anything that's used to make a building or something I'm actually using, normally I'll get that delivered to storage, so whenever I need it, I can just take it out of there and use it. So technically, how many particle accelerators will I make? Maybe 1. But I still want it anyway. So the first piece of straight track's built. I've done the pylon now. Do I just start building the base now, or... Ooh, nearly died there. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, so do I build the base here or a little bit further in? I mean, doesn't that look good? You're looking through the glass foundation, straight at the waterfall. Very James Bond, evil layer type place. Yeah, I'm liking that. And we'll put a good chunk of foundation down now, so let's start putting the first station down. Then we'll get an idea of how much actually more foundations we've got to put down. So we're putting 1 station, 4 freight stations, another station, then another 4 freight stations. So this will be swapping around because this is going to be the inline of stations. There's the first station down. Only another 7 to go. Right, hopefully we'll have an angle for the points. We do have a little bit to play with, so we could have the points nearer towards the main line. But for now, hopefully we're going to have enough room. Right, let's put the second set of stations down. Now that one's done, let's start figuring out the points. How much of an angle are we going to need? And how much are we going to have to split this track in just so we can get it to join at the right angle? Yeah, what we're going to have to do is we'll probably stick some foundations down, do little sections of track, bit at a time. Eventually we'll get the biting point and we'll have the right curve for the actual points. Getting the points lined up, it was a right pain. Eventually I've stuck at it. We've done 3 of them. We still have to do the other outside line that comes on the in track. But for now we'll just start extending these other stations and hopefully we'll get a rough idea what sort of foundation size we're going to have for this base. So on the left hand side, that's the outstations. All 4 of them are now done. Kind of gives you an idea of the size of this thing. It's a pretty decent scale, isn't it? So let's concentrate on the right hand side now. We'll build the other 2. Hopefully that's enough foundations put down now, so let's put the next 2 stations down. Oh, I don't believe it, we're out of wires. Right, luckily we're not far from base, so let's quickly, we'll change the train round and we'll get back to base and get loads of goodies. Next, let's extend the foundations on the side, just so I'm not falling off the end here. And then at the bottom, we'll make it a little bit bigger as well. I have made this little loop track, so the inline and the outline, they kind of loop back on themselves and then they can come out. So it makes like a total loop, doesn't matter which track you come in on, you can always go back out again. As we normally do, we'll do 8 windows high, then we'll start putting the foundations in for the first level. I've had a bit of an idea on this one. Normally on this level I would just put the storage containers down, so I'll bring up the lifts from the station and go straight to the storage container. Sometimes the whole thing can look a little bit messy, I think. So to get away from the messiness, what I'm thinking of on this level, I'll have all the belts pretty neat and sort of like a sorting office, a post office as you will. So all the belts go into different directions. Then when you get to the second level or third level, which everywhere you look at it really, then I'll have the belts go really neat up into the storage units. I'll probably have some sort of sorting level on the 3rd floor as well, so we can separate nuts, berries. And if I can figure out how to do it, I've never done it yet, automatically make the gas filters for the uranium and the regular gas. And what else can we make? The paint. The paint one should be pretty easily, it's just the flowers. The gas ones, the recipes are a little bit more complicated. We will have to put a few things in, mycelia and some plant-based products. Apart from that, I think if you wire all the belts into it, we will be able to make the filters automatically. That's my hope anyway. At last, after what feels like an eternity, is it one more row? Oh, I thought that was the last row, right. One more row of foundations, then the first level, or second level, however you want to look at it. It's now done. How many we've got left to do? About 10? Yeah. As you can see, I brought plenty of concrete 5000. I knew we were going to use it all. Just so I can move around freely, because it is pretty, it's a big area, isn't it? It's 8 walls high. We'll start taking some power wires down on the foundations. Hopefully we should be in range all the time of electricity. If not, I'll just stick more poles down. Because at the moment, we just need to move about really freely, quickly. Get everything built as quick as we can. So what I'll do next is, I think we'll stick another 8 windows down. Then we'll put another floor down a little bit anyway. And that'll give us an idea roughly what sort of height we're looking at for the base. And plus, it'll give us an idea of routing the belts anyway. We'll see how much height we've got to play with. It's quite high. We shouldn't have any problems wiring all the belts. So figuring out where everything's going to go and making it all nice and neat. So since my fun levels are through the roof as we put the concrete down, you know what? Let's put some more down. Put a bigger smile on my face. I'm nearly there, final section. It's all done, finally. Whoa. I felt like I was in a 70s cop show there, like Starsky and Hutch. Kojak, maybe? Yeah, dig it, baby. Right, this is the area we're going to have the actual containers in. I'm thinking maybe 15, 16 rows. each side. We'll have 2 of them, and behind that we'll have some sort of wall section. The openings in the wall, the belts will come through with the lifts, and everything will be delivered. Maybe in front of that we'll have some sort of sorting system that will make the masks in, do the paint, and filter all the nuts and the berries into different containers. So we'll put everything into one container and it'll figure it all out itself. I'm kind of liking that idea. So next, let's start getting the belts up from the freight stations. Let's delete some of these floors, and will that go through there? I think we'll get that one through. Yes, it's going to be what, 6, 7 pieces of floor? We'll just put it level for now, then we'll figure out where we're going to weave the belts after that. About there? Yeah, that should do for now. Later on, we can always cover these with the barriers, you know, like we'll put on the viewing observation desks when we get to the very top level of factories. We could stick this around this sort of area here, just so you don't accidentally fall in like I probably would. There's the first 16 belts coming through the floor. Better put some more power poles down. I'm just getting out of range of electricity here. And we are going to need to move about quite a bit. Let's put quite a few more down. Okay, we're going to start putting the storage containers. I don't want to go too near the edge here. 2 squares, is that going to be enough? Should be okay, I think. If not, I suppose we could expand the factory. Well, the flooring anyway. Just stick another couple of power poles down. I am slightly worried we're going to be out of range here. Yeah, we went out to 2 bars there, weren't we? 3. Okay, so now we'll put a single window wall in here. And then in front of that, we'll put one of the double storage containers. Just need to turn this the right way. Probably right in the middle of both these squares. No, that's way too far. I don't want that far. Delete that. Yeah, about middle of both these squares, I think. Oh, come on. Yeah, about there. Put the belt on. And rinse and repeat. We'll do the other, what, 4, 8 of them? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, the other side. What do you think? 2 big squares, a foundation either side, and then we'll have a little belt coming out like we normally do so you can actually see what the contents of the storage container are. So, yeah, about there. Yeah, let's have it there. So we'll do all 8 on this side as well. The little belts on. I think that's both sides done now. Yeah, that's looking alright. I'm happy with that. So now the tricky part, how do we get the belts up to there? I want to try and keep it as neat as we can, because I want to route belts into like factories and that as well for the gas masks. So I want to tap into lines, because I think we'll need, what is it, like rubber, some aluminium, and there's something else as well. I can't remember offhand. So we'll drop 1 lift down from each window. Then from that, I think we'll join it onto the belts that come from the train stations. How are we going to figure this out? Do I just go straight down, or do I go along on the top of the ceiling then down? I want to try and keep it as neat as we can. What do you guys think? Which would be best? Right, I'm thinking to keep it the neatest it can. If the belts are on the ceiling, you're not going to run over them. And if we want to route something lower down, we can. It'll be easy doing it that way, won't we? Okay, I've made an executive decision. That's what we're going to do. So we'll kind of put group 4 belts together, and then we'll send them all up to the ceiling, and then we'll send the belts from the lifts to the other lifts, and hopefully into storage. This should work, I think, if I've got it in my mind right anyway. It's pretty annoying sometimes. I'm going to guess the height of these lifts, isn't it? I think I've got it right that time. Yeah, I have. Why can't they have some sort of little green line like they do when you're lining up factories and things? You get it on that. Why can't they invent something for belts? Would make it so much easier, wouldn't it? So these 4 belts, I'll have each lift go one level higher if I can. We are getting pretty high on these lifts, aren't we? So at some point I may have to put a second lift on just to get it to the correct height for these belts. Hopefully if I've lined these up correctly, come on, get on the bottom one. And onto the next one. We'll do a turn after this. Oh, that's not going to work. Just join that straight to that end bit then. Will that work? Come on, get on. Yeah, there we go. Then now put a lift straight to the ceiling. And yes, that looks aligned, doesn't it? Then we'll just put a piece of belt straight to storage. Right. That actually seems to work. And it's pretty neat really, isn't it? That should keep most of the belts roughly where the holes come through for all the lifts. So then we'll have plenty of land to play with if we want to route belts or stick some factories down here. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use all the rest of this land for, actually. I've now done the first 4, so that's all going to storage. Just got to figure out the rest now. Yeah, I'm happy with that. We'll box all that in so you won't even see any of this. Now I've just got to figure out how to route the belts from the rear ones as well. Do I just go on top of the original 4, or do I put a belt on the inside, then put the lift sort of on the outside, so it keeps it at another level of 4? I'm not sure on this one. If we have it like it levels 5 to 8, it means the lifts from the station, I'll probably have to use 2 lifts, won't I? After messing about with this a little bit, I decided to go right above the top, so we're having like belts 5 to 8. I did try putting 4 belts at the side of the original 4, and then have the lifts behind. It just looked a bit... It didn't look as nice. It was a bit cumbersome. So, hopefully this will work. You're not going to see it, but I still want it to be as neat and tidy as I can get it. So we're going to have to use 2 lifts from the station up to join on these belts, because we're just not going to have the height from the original lifts. Hopefully we're going to have enough gap. I think we are. Oh, come on. We haven't got the angle. Right. Should we see if we can delete it onto the other belts? Oh. That doesn't look very nice. I don't like that at all. Ooh, what can we do? Could we put the lift sideways, maybe? Yeah, let's try that. The lift, yeah, this should work. It's set slightly further back. It's not much. But I put it sideways. Then if we can get the height right... Oh, I wish we had something to judge this height better. Okay, can we get the belt in there now? Okay, try this again. Have we got the height right this time? Yes, we have. And there we go. That works. Yeah, I like the view. Don't fall away from the electricity, though, because you're never coming back from that drop. I'll wire up belt 6, 7, and 8, and what's that going to be? That's going to be 25% of the storage kind of done. Well, routing the belts anyway. Just joining the last of the belts up, and there we go. There's the first 8, they're all done. Now we'll delete them poles, and then we'll get on with doing the rest of them. It took a little bit of fiddling here, but the first 16 belts, they're now all wired in. Yeah, this took a little bit longer than I thought. Trying to get everything neat, trying to keep everything in order. It's a bit trickier than what I thought, but never mind. I'm actually really happy how that's turned out. Hopefully, guys, hopefully I've got this right. All the belts are now wired up, all the containers are wired up. It's now the tricky part, routing all the trains. I'm going to have to add a few more train stations here. So this is the maiden train, the first one we're going to do. This already has 4 coaches anyway. So we're doing heavy frames, rubber, plastic, and what's the fourth one? Fused frames. So this is the easy one. We'll start with this one. I've named the train stations 1 to 8. So it starts from number 1 on the left hand side, number 8 on the right. So first one, number 1, here we go. Unload the first 4 wagons. Hopefully this will go upstairs if I wide all this up right. Ah, made a major boo-boo here. All the train stations are set to load. So let's quickly go through all, 16 of them. We'll click them all into unload. Then hopefully it'll work next time. The train's just arrived again, and 3 of them are working. Is that 4? Oh, there we go. There wasn't many heavy frames. The rubber, the plastic, and what's the other one? Fused frames. Yep, they're all right at the front there. That seems to be working. Wow, I can't believe it. So now the tricky part. I could get rid of everything in storage, but that means a lot of the factories are going to have to work longer and harder, and I'm worried about electricity usage, because we can't have everything powered on at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move every time we wire up a set of stations, like the 4 containers here, then I'll move all of that from storage from the original base, put that in storage here, and hopefully eventually a lot of the factories will start shutting down again. That's the plan anyway. This could take a while. I've decided to come back with the old paintbrush and let's paint all these stations. What do you think? What colour is this? Like an aqua maybe? Oh, can you not paint the trains? Oh, that's a real shame. I was thinking when we get to the nuclear train, I wanted to paint that thing bright green so I knew where it was, so I can definitely avoid it. Oh man. Oh, look. The actual wagons, they've turned blue. But the train engine itself won't. That's quite disappointing. Guys, I'm starting to think here, building this base was the easy part. Figuring out how to route a train with 4 wagons on the back, that is the hard part. So here's number 2. I'm using supercomputers, aluminium and aluminium casings. Yeah, I'm struggling to find enough room to put a 4 wagon station into a lot of factories. So a lot of redesigning is going to have to happen here. I'll get there eventually, but yeah, it's slow and steady, I think. And the next set of 4, they seem to be all working. Computers, supercomputers, aluminium sheets. Yeah, we'll put some in there as well to fill them up a little bit. And I can see the aluminium casings next to it. That's great. Right, only what, another 6 trains to go. Oh, this is going to take a while. Getting through the storage area from the old place, we're deleting it slow and steady, like I said. What have we got? We've got rid of the casings one. As you can see, we're starting to empty the storage containers here. Let's get on with the plastic one next. I have got a train in the station and I've got 4 or 5 wagons on there. So hopefully we can get rid of all this pretty quick. Yeah, I'll be glad when this is all gone. We've just grew so much bigger than what we actually need for this storage area, and I want more. I want lots more. After an eternity of hard work, we've had to put stations at the steel factory, the motors. At the original base, I've had to stick a temporary station down as well. All of that, it all needs rebuilding, so it looks pretty. But for now, everything's functional and it works. And everything's come to storage, so everything we need to build stuff, it's right here now. I'm over the moon with that. It took a lot longer than I thought, but I knew this would be a big job. Next job. We've always got a next job. I want to start figuring out a sort of filter system. And also, I want to start making masks and the paint. So we can have as much as the nuclear masks, the gas mask, as we want, and we aren't going to make them any more by hand, which would be great. So first up, we need a container what everything just gets thrown into, like nuts, berries, leaves, sticks, mycelia, whatever else we want. I'll figure out a way to filter it all in different containers. Unfortunately, you can't make the inhalers in the machine right now, which is a bit of a shame, because I would have liked to have done that as well. But I suppose we can just make them by hand. This is now the tricky part, rooting everything. So leaves, sticks, and what else? Mycelia. We'll send that to the left hand side for now. Then that, I think that we'll turn that into the fabric. Eventually that will get sent to a manufacturer. Then we'll make the masks from that. We're also going to need some stuff from down below, so we'll have to tap in lines today as well. Hopefully this will all work. Famous last words for me is that, isn't it? I put down a couple of containers. One's going to be for the wood, one's going to be for the leaves. So we need the output for the leaves to go right here. The wood goes on to the center, and then if there's any overflow, that'll go to the left, and I'll send that to an awesome thing to get rid of it, because I don't want any of the belts to get blocked up. Oh, my head is hurting here, yeah. So then we follow on to another programmable splitter. The wood should turn right. Overflow goes left. Yeah, we're going to need one for mycelia as well, aren't we? After a bit of messing about, I've thrown all the wood and the leaves in the original container and started emptying all these temporary containers. We've got no mycelia, have we? Oh, I just wanted to make sure that works. I think I've set it up right. No, that's Sam, or you fool. I think I figured this out. It took us a while. Yeah, everything seems to be getting separated now into different containers, which is great. Haven't got to do none of this by hand anymore. Next job, we need to put some constructors down from the leaves and the wood, so that can get mashed into biomass, and then hopefully we can figure out how to get that turned into fabric. I put down a constructor each from the leaves and the sticks, and now should I put down another container for biomass? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I've just decided to leave it. Hopefully these two constructors will keep up making the fabric. How much fabric are we going to make anyway? So I'll do a merger from the biomass from these two constructors straight to this assembler. Then we need to do a line for the mycelia from storage into the assembler as well. Then hopefully we'll have the fabric made. I've decided to stick a storage container down for the fabric because we have loads of it in storage and I really just don't want to get rid of it. So we'll put one down, and next we'll put a manufacturer down and figure out what we need for the gas masks. I've put the manufacturer down. The fabric's already going to it, so next up we need coal and rubber. Luckily that's been delivered to the station. So now let's tap into the lines and we'll figure out how to get the belts all the way up here. Probably along the ceiling, I'm thinking. I've managed to route the belts from the rubber and the coal straight to this manufacturer. I did go right on the ceiling. You can just see the under the glass floor. Let's check on this, and hopefully we should be making gas masks now automatically. Yes, there we go. Nice. So all we've got to do is we've got to put wood, leaves in, and a bit of mycelia, and the whole thing is totally automatic. Right, next job, we need to make the iodine masks, which pretty soon we're getting into nuclear. We're definitely going to need an absolute bucket load of these things. As I did with the original manufacturer just for the gas mask, we needed quick wire and aluminium casings, so I've routed them underneath the ceiling and they're now going straight to the manufacturer. I've also split the line from the gas factory manufacturer itself, so hopefully we should be making the iodine masks now. Look at that, guys, we're making the iodine filter mask great with no manual input from us at all. Well, kind of, really. We're making them anyway. No more making them by hand, that's the main thing. And the gas mask filters, they're making them as well. So I've routed some storage all the way to the entrance, roughly where you put everything in at the start. And there we go, we've now got 124 of them filters, 21 of the iodine filters. Yeah, we're only making 3 a minute, but who cares? We're making them all automatically. Right, I'll do a bit of work off camera. We'll sort out the paint spraying, because that should just be flowers going into a constructor, and then we'll route a bit of storage, and eventually we'll come up with paint. How much paint are we going to use? I don't know. We could be turned into a Banksy doing graffiti everywhere. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. How much have we done today? We have a new home. Yes, it's a virtual mansion. I know it's not quite a mansion, but it feels like it. It's so big and grand. So please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time for what I'm thinking. We'll probably get to the nuclear age next. Oh dear, we're all going to glow in the dark. Bye for now, guys.